Hey, so welcome back to my page, my channel. Today I kind of want to, I kind of have a few stories I want to tell. Well, not today, but um, I kind of do have stories I want to tell every now and again. So this might be a little, depending on how it's portrayed, I might continue to tell a few stories.
You
But
okay in there?
this one here, my first job.
Don't worry.
First job I
I'm gonna
was
find the key to this thing
17.
and get you out of
And
there.
for anybody who lives in Virginia, I think Ohio, in North Carolina, I worked at a Kings Dominion, which is an amusement park, which is part of like a Cedar Point, Cedar Fair. I don't remember the exact one, but it's part of that whole amusement park map. And there I worked as a lifeguard. That in itself was a whole story to get to, but like I said, if this does pretty well, I might just tell some more stories about it and other funny stories about work. But um, I had just finished high school. I graduated early, and I kind of wanted to make some bread before college started. So I got a job here. My friend actually helped me get the job here, but like I said, another story for another time. Anywho, um, as a lifeguard, we uh we always had everyone always has to stay watch. Like someone has to always be watching the water, 24/7. And this particular incident, I was rotating the last person out of this rotation. Now, what happens is supervisor will start the rotation. They'll have a sheet and they'll give it to so and so, and they'll go and they rotate one person out, and that person goes to the next person, and the next person, and so forth until everybody's rotated out. At the end, the last person will go to the supervisor, and the supervisor would either give them like training tasks to do, or they'll just chill for a minute, just to kind of give somebody a relaxing time. So I get the little sheet. It's like this tiny, tiny little square piece of paper, and I'm the last person on the list to rotate out. This one girl. Yeah, she was a lady. But I'm just gonna say girl because I don't. Should when you get to a certain point, do you call females girls or do you call them ladies? Because sometimes I feel like when I'm telling my friends, yeah, I'm talking to this one girl, this one lady. Like I don't know which way it should be portrayed. But for the story, I'm gonna say girl. Um, so I go to rotate out this one girl. And what happens is when the lifeguards on stand, the person who's rotating the lifeguard out would come up, and they would survey the whole water. So like they would look at the bottom edges and look around, make sure like there's nothing going on before they rotate the person out. Kings Dominion, I was working at the lazy river on this particular day, and walked up the line or walked up the river, checked everything, walked down the river, checked everything, and I came up next to the lifeguard stand, and after the lifeguard does that, the one who's rotating in, they confirm with the lifeguard the rotating out that they're now watching the water. So at any given point, at least one lifeguard has to be watching the water. So I cleared out the scene. I made sure everything was good, and I was watching the water. She got off the stand.
Please tell me
She
what
stood
I'm
next to
looking
the stand, and she started watching as well. She confirmed with me that she's watching, so now I have to get on the stand. Like I said, at some point, at least one lifeguard has to always be watching the water. So I'm on stand, and I'm starting to scan. That's what the proper term is. You're scanning your zone. So I get back on stand, and I'm scanning my zone now. She walks down the way, basically does the same thing I did, and she wants to confirm that everything is well as well. So she does that. She comes back and
Everything's
she
all right
asks,
now.
she says everything's clear. Do you need anything?
That's just what
'Cause
he
at
wants
this
you
point,
to think.
if the lifeguard needs
I'm just a
water
bait.
or needs whatever, you kind of can
You
say,
fell
hey, I
for
need
it.
such and such. They'll get it for you. They'll get it set up, and then they can be on their way because now you're
Shit.
good on stand.
Take the
So she
filter.
asks if I need anything.
On my mask.
I had a pen on
Or
me,
you'll die.
an ink pen. I know it's 2021, so yeah, an ink pen.
You
And
did anyway.
I sat there, with my whistle in my mouth, watching the water, and I was like,
Right, Chris.
yeah,
Just
I'm gonna
watch
do
and
this.
learn.
So I'm on stand. Everyone's coming like down the river. People are like, it's a busy day. I was like, yeah, I'm gonna need your number. And she kind of paused for a minute. I guess she didn't hear what I said, or she kind of was gathering what I said. It didn't register yet. So I gave her the piece of paper and I gave her the pen that I had on me. So she wrote that joint down. Man, I'm telling you, this was like the end of the day. I was about to get off. Well, we were about to get off because lifeguards typically don't leave like in the middle of a shift. Since we come in a little later, we all kind of leave when the water park closes. So it's, where were we at? It's like maybe the last rotation of the day. And I know this because I was cool with the supervisors. So it's the last rotation of the day. And I needed that number. Like, I needed it now. And so she gave me the number, and she was walking off, and I was like, hey, could you get this pen back to the supervisor? I want to say well, I don't want to say names. No, I don't want to say names yet. But my supervisor, I didn't meet her until like late in the game. But like I said, it's a whole backstory to this thing. So she goes and she takes the pen back to her. And I'm sitting there on stand, whistle in my mouth, and I'm just cheesing. I want to say it was payday too, so I'm like double happy. I'm smiling, grinning from ear to ear. Everybody that's coming by the river is like, they notice, they see me, and I'm happy as can be. So, what typically happens is, as a lifeguard, at any point in time, a supervisor would like get somebody to fake drown. Well, it'll be a supervisor or like another employee, but they wouldn't be in uniform. They would just like swim in the water and they would like fake drown, or like they would have a dummy baby and kind of like drop it off in the water, and like you're supposed to be able to spot like what's going on, blow the whistle the correct amount of times, and hop into action within like a certain time frame. So I want to say I've been here for maybe, it's like June, so I've been there for like a month at this point. And I've never been, I don't want to say it was audited, I want to say that was vetted. It's either that or audit. I don't remember the correct term, but that never happened to me. And I'm always ready for it. Like I'm just ready. So I'm sitting there cheesing ear to ear, grinning, watching this water, and I'm not gonna hold. That joke was on my mind all day, or at that point, like it was on my mind. I was like, man, I can't wait to get off. I'm gonna send a little text. I'm definitely finna spit game. I'm definitely gonna spit game. And so I'm watching this water. And I want to say maybe 10 minutes, 20 minutes before the whole shift ends, I'm in my head, I'm thinking about, sending these messages. I'm sitting here thinking about texting her. But, like, I'm still watching the water. I'm making sure everything's good. So, the way that I scan, some lifeguards go left, right, left, right, left, right. I scan up, down, up, down, up, down. But then I do like a, after I go from left all the way to right, I kind of scan like under my, like I look straight down. So I kind of go from the far right and I look straight down. I kind of scan like the little edge of the pool and then start back on my left again and go back up, down, up, down, up, down. So I get all the way to the right and I scan all the way down to the left. And so the way the river flows, from my perspective, it's going from right to left. So I'm scanning the reverse flow of the river. So I get to the right, I scan underneath me, or the bottom of me, and I get to the left. As I'm on the left, I'm still thinking about texting this girl, because I'm telling you, like, I couldn't wait to get off. I'm right there, actually. Like, as soon as we got off, because we all, like, have a whole little group meeting afterwards, I was going to say something right there, because, I mean, why not? So, as soon as I get to the left, I just hear, like, splashing. And this type of, like, when you're a lifeguard, you know the playful splashes, and you know that, like, out of the ordinary splash. And so I heard that out of the ordinary splash. And so I quickly scanned over and looked over, and at the very, very far right, I saw a whole like bunch of splashing. Now, I've learned that in life, when you are genuinely contemplating something, or like you're genuinely going through something, and it's like a you have to make a choice right then and there, time slows down. So in this time, I noticed what's happening. I'm like, oh yes, I'm about to be able to show all these lifeguards, all my supervisors, all these guests out here what it really do. But at the same time, I'm thinking to myself, I got a number in my pocket. And that joint was written in ink. So I was like, dang. But I've always been taught to remember that you lose more women, you lose more money chasing women than you do losing women chasing money. So I was like, I definitely got to secure this bag. This is for the job. I got to blow this whistle. So I blew the whistle, got up, hopped in this water. As I hopped in this water to get the supervisor, mind you, I've never seen the supervisor before. Typically, this is crazy. Of like my whole experience there, everybody's kind of been vetted in like a manner where like they've seen the supervisor before, or like they've known of them. Every time I got, I've never met this person or seen this person a day in my day. It got to the point where they got people from whole other sections, whole other teams to come in and just wild out and try to get me. But I think that's because the people like to talk to me, and I knew a lot of people, so they had to kind of mix it up. So anyway, I go in there and I save her. And I'm telling you, my team was full of beautiful women. Like, oh my goodness. She wasn't even part of my team, but she started the whole thing too. I can't know her. Yeah. I said the name right there. But so I get her, and she was like, good job. Like, well, I get her, and there's always another lifeguard that's watching just to like time you. Like, there's your supervisor, and then there's like the supervisor. That person is the one that's like in the cut watching you, timing you, making sure you do everything on time. So I'm sitting there and I get her, and like I'm happy I got her, because like everyone's like, oh, like that's an amazing time, that's great, that's good. But as I'm sitting there, deep down inside, I slightly feel sad because, like I said, this number was in my pocket, and this paper that it was written on was so thin, it was like rice paper. This This is bringing back memories. So I get back out. I go back to stand. I'm dripping wet. I rotate the person back out, because the lifeguard would, like, when you're getting batted, they rotate you out real quick too, just to kind of, make sure everybody else is still good. So I get back on stand. I'm sitting there, and I'm scanning. But from this point on my mind, I'm just like, of all days, of all times, they want to vet me now. Hell, they vetted me like before we're about to leave, so I'm wet now. Like, so anyway, so I get off stand. The water park's closing, and we're in our groups of lifeguards talking about what happened during the day. It was a good job, this and that. I'm meeting other supervisors, because, like I said, I've never met these people like at that point. But yeah. So I'm trying to find the girl. I found her, and I was talking with her, and I was like, so I might need that number again. Like, I think I might have lost it. Now, she kind of gave me this look, and I was like, nah. Like, in my mind, I'm like, nah. It's not even like you gave it to me, and I said, oops, and like didn't pay attention to it and just gave up on it. So I was like, nah, I got vatted. Like, I'm dripping right now. I had to jump in the joint to save my supervisor. It ain't even like that. I might need it again. So I don't know where my phone was at. It wasn't on me. It was like off in the cut somewhere. Oh, we put our stuff in like little cabinets or little lockers. And so that joint was like 50,000 miles away, and she was dipping. She had to dip. I don't remember why, but she had to dip. And I had to go talk to like the supervisor about. I ended up always having to talk to supervisors, always. I wasn't like a trouble employee or nothing. It's just so many stories. So I told her I need that number, but like she gotta go, and there's no pin around me. So I'm sitting there like just mad, because I'm like, man, I kept the job. I'm happy I kept the bag, but like I did all this to get this number, and now I fumbled it. So I know the paper's in my pocket, and the worst thing about it is I folded the paper up. Like I kind of rolled it up almost like a burrito type fold, and so I was like, I definitely have to let this thing dry out before I unroll it, because if I unroll it, that thing's ripping. Man, I get to this employee cafe, which by far was like an amazing place to be. Like, so that was my favorite of everywhere I worked so far. That's like my favorite employee cafe, like my employee location, like that. Whew, I missed it. But so I get there and I dig in my pocket, because I'm like, okay, I should be dry enough now. Like, that's what made it worse. I was already off work and I couldn't text this girl. Like, it was on my mind the whole time when I couldn't text her. So I finally get to the cafe and I get food. I'm trying to give myself every possible second to let this thing dry out, because I'm already like salty. I haven't texted her yet. I dig in my pocket and I found the paper. Well, it was the only thing in my pocket, so I got it. I pulled it out, and it was like dried up, like a crusty kind of dry. So I was like, okay, cool, I can unroll it now, but let me still be careful, because I don't wanna mess this up. So I start to unroll it, and as I'm unrolling it, like the first, like I'm seeing the solid digits, I'm seeing the full numbers, and I'm like, oh yes, thank goodness. I'm rolling, and it gets to the last 4 digits. And when I tell you these things are smeared, man, I pulled out like some a magnifying glass, and I was trying to figure out the exact. I was doing the most to get this thing fixed up. But long story short, I texted the number and I actually got it. It was her. So, you know, in those moments, that's when I learned. There's always times where you're gonna want something so badly, and you're gonna get it. You're going to get it, but something else is gonna happen and kind of interfere with that. And you know, sometimes it's out of your control. Sometimes the things you can't control, you shouldn't really stress over, because I'm assuming I could have got the number again. You know, I could have said, hey, yeah, I didn't get it. But I definitely didn't want her to feel like I was just ignoring her. But that was a pretty funny time. That was the first time I was kind of like salty there. I was just like, yeah, ain't no way that of all times this happens. But, you know, life's funny like that. But appreciate you sticking through the story. It wasn't as eventful as I would have wanted it to be. Maybe later on down the line I would like animate something, or get an animator friend. I have a lot of friends in animation, but like collab with them to get a visual for this thing, because like it's my heart sank that day. But like I said, appreciate you watching the whole thing through. I think I have Resident Evil on in this thing. I think it's a little funny to have a horror game in this story, but still, appreciate you for rocking. leave a like, share, leave a comment. Like I said, I'm just starting this thing out, so any comments I will definitely take into consideration. I'll do my best to check them all, and just have a good day.